the current head football coach, man, of the Northeastern State University football program. And he is a former interim head coach of University of Colorado, offensive coordinator at University of Colorado, NFL draft pick by the Cleveland Browns, 1999, a Colorado Buff alum. Probably to enjoy at Corona High School right here in Southern California. JUCO legend himself as well. He'll be joining us during the season to give Coach Chev's Chalk Talk. So look forward to that as well. Our main man, Coach Darrin Chiaverini, joins the show. Coach.
What's going on, Coach?
JB, Smitty, what's up, my guys, man? How we doing
up, man?
This morning?
So what's up, man? Give us a little insight. D2 football, I played it, so I understand a little bit. So right now, summer dog days, you got guys there probably in the weight room and getting ready to go on break, or are you on break bringing them in for fall?
So our guys been here. They've been doing summer bridge. So they're taking like English class, math class, science class, and then they've been getting their workouts in on their own. So it's been a really productive summer. JB, you know how it is, man. It's rough, man. It's rough in those summers, man. So we're kind of in those dog days of summer right now, getting closer to fall camp, which kicks off August 3rd. Excited about our team. You know, I got here about 18 months ago, and so it has been a grind to get this team to where it is right now. We're going to be very, very competitive, man. We've come a long way in a short amount of time. And as you know, it's all about recruiting, man. You got to be able to recruit and retain and develop. And we're kind of in that third phase right now of our development phase. And I feel good about, you know, bringing in 40 mid-year. We brought in 20 mid-year transfers and 40 high school kids that we signed. And that's a big class, man. You're bringing in 60 kids on top of the 60 kids we brought in last year. And so we've been able to flip this program in one season, man.
And rumor is on the street, Coach, rumors on the street out here that you did bring in some dudes, and you are in the MIAA where the dudes are the dudes of Division II. That's the Division I SEC of Division II football. Not only talent-wise, roster-wise, coaching-wise, but facilities. People don't realize facilities are pretty much, for the most part, some might make new ones, some have older ones. You got Pitt State with the biggest jumbotron in all of football, and they're a Division II program. Right there in Pittsburgh, Kansas. You got Northwest Missouri State, St. Joe's, Mo West, all these different programs that have been legendary for a long, long time. And that carries weight. You brought some dudes in. They say you brought some dudes in. You got one of my former kids playing quarterback there. He's competing for a spot. His father's told me, man, Coach Chev brought some dudes in, man. This is a whole nother program, blah, blah, blah. So I can't wait to see it. Let me ask you, are you preparing every day for tomorrow, today? Meaning you're not only working on this program but your own future to get back to a Power 5 or a Division I job for everybody out there that don't know. I know you're focused on Northwest or Northeastern State right now, but I'm just saying for the future for you.
You know, I think the best thing you can do, I'm a firm believer, man, be where your feet are, man. So, you know, you just got to do the best job where you're at. And if you do a great job where you're at, then those opportunities will come to you. You know, I think I'm at a point in my career now. I'm 47. I've been coaching college football now for 19 years. And, you know, I've been, you know, in the Pac-12, been to Big 12. I've been in a lot of different conferences. And what I can tell you is the MIAA and the schedule that we play is a very, very good football schedule, good football teams, well coached. And they do a great job with their recruiting and their retention. But at the end of the day, in order for me to have opportunities in the future, I got to do the best job I can do for NSU. I got to put NSU on the map nationally and make a name for us this year. And we're trending that way. I mean, you know, recruiting is a tough business, as we know, JB, and you did it for a long time, man. And you got to be able to grind through those spring evaluations. You got to get on the road. You got to see them working out. You got to see them practicing. And we've done a good job of that. When you can bring in 20 mid-year transfers and have them go through spring football, you know, Donnie Smith is one of them. He was a JUCO All-American from Snow College. He was a California guy. You know, we brought in some really, really talented players. You know, Levante Chenault, who was here last year for us. You know, he's an NFL type of receiver. I coached his brother at Colorado. His brother was a second-round draft pick of the Jaguars. And Levante, I think, is probably a more polished receiver than his brother was at this point in his career. So I'm excited about Levante. We've got Mikey Henderson, who was a Division I bounce back. You know, we got Cam Woods, who was an All-American for us last year at tight end. You know, Ramon McKinney's probably the best. He's going to be one of the best Division II college running backs, period. He was a true freshman last year that had over 1,000 yards of all-purpose yards and, you know, scored 4 touchdowns against the team out west. So he is a very dynamic athlete, man. And on defense, we've gotten bigger. We needed to get bigger on the defensive line. We got Patrick Hisatake, who's a 6'5", 260-pound defensive end. He's a Division I bounce back from Cal and University of Hawaii. You know, we signed Solomon Wright, who is a Division I bounce back. His dad is Kenyatta Wright, who is the GM right now over at Oklahoma State. And so we have a talented group of players. And now, you know, I told our coaches, we got to coach them. You know, it's one thing to recruit a good group of players, as we know, but now you got to bring them together as a team and get them on the same page. And that's our job as a coaching staff.
Coach, you're diving into, like, you know, you're amazing offseason as far as recruiting here. Just for my own, I guess, education and knowledge as a former player, when you're going on the road and you're going to watch these guys work out and things of that nature, I guess, and I don't want you to give up all your secrets, but like, what's like the pitch? What's the thing that's made you so successful this offseason, just in your career as far as on the recruitment side?
I mean, I think the good thing for me is, like, a lot of those kids want to play pro football. You know, a lot of those kids want to play at the highest level they possibly can play at. And the good thing about my background, you know, I was an all-conference receiver at Colorado. I was a team captain in college. I was a 5th-round draft pick by the Browns. I still hold the Browns record for most catches by a rookie in a game. I had 10 against Jacksonville back in '99. And so I can speak to what they want. Kids want to be developed. Kids want discipline, and they want development. And that's the thing that our program offers them, is that, you know, they know when Coach Chev talks to them, they know when I get up in front of the room that I'm speaking from a place of experience. Yeah. You know, some guys talk about the league, but they haven't been to the league, man. And so I can speak on my experiences as a former player. I can speak on my experiences as a college football coach at the highest levels of college football. And I think that when you sit down with moms and dads, you know, they know that I'm going to be honest with them. I'm very transparent about, you know, what their offer is, how much money they're going to get with their scholarship. You know, I don't try to hide anything from people. And I think when people play for me, they know that, you know, I'm very transparent, I'm very honest, and people respect that. And so to kind of answer your question, Smitty, is that I talk to them like I wanted to be talked to.
Right.
I try to stay away from coach talk. I try to keep it more real with them. Keep it more like, hey, this is what we're going to do for you. This is how we're going to develop you. Now you got to be committed to the process as much as I'm committed to the process. So, you know, we're on the right track as far as recruiting goes. So,
love it.
Hey, get the audience a breakdown of what's going on in college football right now. You know both worlds right now, Division I and Division II, even the FBS in the middle. With this landscape that's going on and this you know, this portal and now opening up a new portal again, how has it benefited D2? Because I'm seeing you get a lot of D1 kids. You know, we've always seen the kid that was ineligible to go play D1. He's already hit his D1 clock, and he had to go D2. I was one of those guys. Is it now easier to get Division I talent, though, because of the portal and guys willing to go and play right away? And then you got guys like a wideout leaving Toledo and starting and balling at Alabama. That would have never happened back in our day. Like, that just didn't happen. You went to Toledo for a reason, because you never could play at Alabama. Now they're starring at Alabama, and they played in the MAC. And no offense to Smitty and the Ball State, they're shitty, but you know what I'm saying?
We get under-recruited, JB, because we're a little shorter. Doesn't mean the talent isn't there. And I could have played in Georgia.
I'm glad you said that, though. Like, size does matter. When you play in the SEC, in the Big 10, the Big 12, and the Pac-12, O-line, D-line, size matters. Nowadays, is it not mattering, Chev? Like, what's going on? You're getting guys that maybe you couldn't have got 5-6 years ago.
It definitely matters. I mean, the portal has definitely – I think the portal has benefited Division II football, because the Power 4 conferences, they're all dealing in the portal. What I mean by that is, like, after a season, instead of going to the junior college ranks and signing a junior college kid, they're going to go to the portal first. They're going to see what is in the portal from other schools. They want to see if they can poach from other schools before they dip down. It used to be, you know, in Division I college football, when you needed a mid-year guy, you went to JUCO, you went to junior colleges, you went to California, you went to Kansas, you went to Texas, and that's where you found your junior college talent to add those juniors and those mid-year older guys to your roster that helps you win. They're not doing that as much anymore. Now they're dealing in the portal, so they're going school to school. And so that what happens for guys like me that are at Division II school is that we're able to go to a junior college where those guys would not have been available. Like, Donnie wouldn't have been available before the portal. Donnie is a 6'4", 220-pound quarterback that can spin it. he would have been at an FCS program, or he would have been at a group of 5. He would have been somewhere like that. And that goes for a lot of our guys. I mean, we have guys that are sick. Our guys have the size, they have the length, but they're under-evaluated because there's so many kids. There's over 10,000 kids in the portal. I mean, 10,000 kids, I mean, that's a lot of student athletes that don't have jobs right now. And so all those colleges are spending a lot of their resources trying to evaluate those guys before they get to the junior college and before they get to the high school kids. High school kids will really have a hard time.
How big is this NIL deal at your level? Are you having to face the kid that's just talking dollars and you're like, come on, man. Like, let's be honest here.
It does come up at our level. Obviously, NIL is, it's something that's being used in college football across the landscape from different divisions. It's something that we've been involved with as well. I mean, we have a third-party company that we've been working with, but it's not the level of a Division I level. I mean, Division I level, they're dealing with, right now they're talking, especially now that rev shares kicked in. They got the rev share contracts, and now they got NIL contracts. And so, the Division I level, you're talking about kids making 100, 200, 300,000, quarterbacks making about $1 million to $1.5 million, top defensive ends and offensive tackles making that kind of range. So it's a very different ball game from Division II. We're not talking about those kind of numbers at our level, but I think that people still want to say that they have NIL. They still want to say that they got something from so-and-so to help them, be a part of a company or whatever, an advertisement for a company, whatever they're doing in their NIL stuff. For us, it's a separate entity for us. I mean, that's a third party, different contract. You're dealing with their rules and their bylaws and all those kind of things. So we don't have to be in it as much as probably the Division I school has to be in it.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Let me ask you this, Coach, because again, you're from the old school, played it, during the old school, coached even a little bit, from the old school as well. How different are I guess this generation, just in general, just in the locker room, just from your lens? Like JB always talks about, like, from these kids are so much softer, so much this, so much that. Are you seeing that, or are they actually a lot more similar to you and your generation when you played?
The difference, to answer that question, Smitty, the difference is when I played, when JB played, when you played, Smitty, like, we never asked the coach why, right? We never, when the coach said something,
right,
it was like, yes, sir, it's time to go to work. But kids nowadays, and it's a different generation, they've been raised differently than we were raised. They want to know the why before they go do something. And so, like, when we explain things as far as installations on offense, defense, and special teams, I tell our coaching staff, you have to be very detailed in what you're doing. You have to be so detailed so that when a why does come out, hey, coach, why are we doing this? You have a rebuttal and you have an answer for their question. And it's okay to ask the why, but once I give you the why, now it's time to go to work. And so that's the difference between the two. I don't know if they're softer by trade. I know JB will say that. JB will say they're soft. I know that. But I do think that once they do know the why and once they trust you, man, we got a good enough group to win all of our games. And that's how I feel. I feel that we've done a good enough job. And I told our staff that we've done a good enough job with our roster retention and development and our recruiting aspect of it to put ourselves in every single game that we play and win every single game that we play. And so now it's our job just to coach them. Our job is to get them all doing the right things at the right time and build team chemistry and build our team culture. And that takes coaching. Okay. If they didn't need coaches, none of us would be here, right? The players would just run themselves, but they need coaches. We all need coaches. I needed coaches when I was their age. Yeah. And so it's our job to be honest and be hard on them to get them to do what they want to do.
And to that point about, I'm sorry, one more, JB, for coaching, how do you view success, like, as a head coach? Like, is it strictly like wins? Is it like, how, because you got so much on your plate as a head guy. You're in about classes, being eligible. Like, there's a lot on your plate. So as the head guy, how do you view like a successful year?
For us going into year 2, we want to win more games than we won in year 1. So year 1, we were 2-9. We lost 4 games by 1 score. But we had a lot, what we called a lot of small victories. Even though the victories didn't show up on the scoreboard, man, we turned this culture around in this program. This program had been down for a long time, but we took a lot of steps forward in year 1 where this program was struggling for years before I got here. So in year 2, I always say the biggest jump a team's going to make, a program's going to make, is from year 1 to year 2.
Yeah.
So we're going into year 2 of I call it our championship build. And this championship build is a 3 to 4 year, to me, a 3 to 4 year trajectory. We're in year 2 of this championship build. And I'm a firm believer, a successful year for us. One, we're gonna win more games in year 2 than we won in year 1. We have a better team, we have a better roster, we got better coaches, we're in a better situation. But overall, the success I want to see is I want to see not only our teams compete, which we did last year, I want to see our teams win those games in the fourth quarter that we let up in year 1. And so that's my job as the head coach and the offensive coordinator. It's our defensive coordinator, Coach Tanavas's job. It's our special teams coordinator, Coach Atwell's job. It's our coaching staff, Coach Sutherland, our O-line coach, Coach Chiaverini, our other quarterback coach. That is what is important. We have to coach them.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't think enough emphasis is put on that. Sometimes people say, well, it's not X's and O's, it's Jimmy's and Joe's. It's both. You got to have Jimmy's and Joe's, but you better have X's and O's too. You better be able to put them together if you want to have a championship program. And to kind of get back to your point, your question, Smitty, is that for me, a successful year is I want to see us keep doing well in the class. And we set a school record. We had over a 3.0 team GPA, which in football, that's hard. When you're dealing with 115, 120 student athletes, to have a team GPA of over 3.0 is a huge deal. And we were 3.11 this spring, which broke the school record from before. And so I want to see us maintain our school, but I want to see us win games in the fourth quarter, win more games we won in year 1, and keep our momentum going in recruiting.
Love
No
it.
doubt. Let me ask you this. You're in year 2. It seems like you're ahead of the curve. Entering year 3, I used to call it my 3-year plan for success. That was the year that I want to see. I aspire from the outside looking on. I want to see, all right, I want to see Coach Chev's year 3. I want to see, speaking of year 3, Colorado, Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, is entering year 3. Obviously, he's in the news for all the wrong things. He's got some health issues. Hopefully, he's all right. You know him well. You know the program well as anybody else that we can get on the show. Let me ask you, what is your, I guess, what do you look at right now for year 3 for Deion in Colorado, your alma mater? What are you seeing right here, as this is a critical year in a conference that obviously has some big time teams in it, 2 playoff teams?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big year for Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes. Obviously losing, the Heisman Trophy winner, I think Travis Hunter's a generational talent. I watched that kid live in games, and he is as advertised. That kid is an unbelievable football player. Losing him is a big blow. And losing Shedeur, I mean, even though Shedeur fell in the draft, which I was surprised he fell as far as he did, but losing Shedeur won them a lot of games. I don't think without Shedeur and without Travis last year, they're probably a 6-win team at most a 6. They went 9-4 last year. They obviously lost the bowl game, didn't play great in the bowl game. But, Coach Prime, to his credit, I mean, the guy's been there 2 years. In year 2, they went from 4 wins to 9 wins. That's a huge jump in Division I college football. They were really close to really competing for the Big 12 championship if they wouldn't have laid an egg on the road against Kansas. But I mean, I think that he's on the right track. Now, he's had some health issues, which has obviously set them back in recruiting. I saw they were low in the recruiting rankings. It's probably because he hasn't been on campus, and he's been trying to get himself back healthy to get back to Boulder. But this is a big year. Obviously he got the big contract extension, which, I'm sure he, his agent, his people in his corner did a great job of showing, I'm sure they've increased attendance. They've increased probably enrollment at the University of Colorado, which is money. They've obviously increased the visibility nationally, which is money in advertising dollars. So even though that, he went 13-12 in 2 years, they can probably validate the fact that, well, he's really elevated the program from a visibility standpoint. But this is a big year for him. And I'm curious to see how it's going to work out for CU. I'm a Buff. I believe black and gold. I mean, that's my school. That's my alma mater. I'm always going to root for them. But they got to figure out who the quarterback's going to be. They got a transfer that came in. They got a highly regarded freshman 5-star quarterback, which playing true freshman at quarterback is not easy in Division I college football. Doesn't matter how much you've been recruited. Doesn't matter how highly touted you were coming out of high school. The game is so much faster. There's so much more on your plate. College offenses are so much more evolved. And their OC, Pat Schumer's an NFL guy. And so I'm sure it's even more complex than most college offenses because it's more of an NFL offense. And so I'm sure there's a lot of checks. I'm sure there's a lot of mic IDs. I'm sure there's a lot of you got redirect protection. And I'm interested to see how it comes together, because quarterback is all about reps. It's all about, you played at JB. It's all about reps. And it's all about experience of going through the moments. And Shedeur had a lot of reps on him from going back to Jackson State to his time at Colorado. He had a lot of reps. And so he saw a lot of things. So the game when he came from Jackson State to Colorado wasn't much faster because he'd gone through it a million times. But for Salter and for the young freshman they brought in that 5-star kid, I mean, they're going to have to do a lot of work, and it's going to take some time. I don't know if it's going to be what they want it to be in year 3, but you know, I'm rooting for him, JB. I really am.
Let me ask you this real quick, Smitty. So you say that year 3 for Deion, this would be his first year without coaching his sons, and that includes his, you know, what he called his son in Travis Hunter. So he's had him from high school to Jackson, and he moved him here. What do you think the biggest, I guess, thing everyone's going to be looking at or talking about this year when he has no son at quarterback, different last name back there at the trigger, regardless of who it is, and then you don't have your other kids on defense and then your other Travis Hunter? Is this going to be a make or break year for him? Not only just wins and losses, but let's talk what you and I know. He's got to manage a staff now as the CEO, be a head coach, be a manager of everything, not just the figurehead that we know Deion Sanders to be, one of the greatest football players of all time. He now has to be a real football coach, and I'm not saying real like knocking him, but like this is going to be something that everyone's going to look at and say, hey, man, he didn't manage the staff very well, or something's going to come up if he doesn't win 9 or more games to match what he did in year 2.
Yeah, I don't know if they have a roster to win 9 this year, but, you know, I think a successful year for Colorado, they got to get to a bowl game, right? In year 3, they got to get to a bowl game. They got to show that recruiting is still a hot name in Boulder as far as getting them to Boulder, getting them signed, getting them committed. You know, I think, I saw they had some commitments this weekend. And so I'm sure that, Deion's back on campus and they're probably, getting some of that stuff going, even though it's a dead period. They can't have people on campus, but he's probably back in the office. He's probably hitting, things hard. I think, I give Deion a lot of credit in the sense that, this guy he was a high school coach, like, I don't know, 5 years ago, 6 years, not that long ago. And he was like a Pop Warner coach before that. But it just shows you his intellect, his intelligence as a former player, that he can basically do what he's been able to do and basically put himself in a position. He got a $50 million contract. They don't just give out $50 million contracts.
Right.
So he's doing something right. I know he's got a lot of haters, and there's things that I don't always agree with. Believe me, as a former player and being an alum of CU, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with. But at the end of the day, Deion Sanders is the head football coach at Colorado. It's his program. He can do what he wants. And I respect that, just like it's my program here at NSU. There's people that don't like me because of whatever, but this is my program. It's not your program.
Right.
I'm going to run it the way I want to run it. And when you become a head coach, and when you become a head coach, and when you become a head coach, you can do it the way you want to do it. But I'm interested to see if the development piece of CU's program takes the next step, because losing Shedeur and losing Travis shouldn't be the reason why you're not winning. It should be that you've been developing pieces to be the next guy. Now, you can't replace Travis. You can't. That dude's different. Now, Shedeur, they're going to have a hard time replacing him right away. But do they have enough pieces around the guy, whoever the quarterback's going to be at Colorado? Do they do a good enough job on the pieces around him, the offensive line, the running back positions, the tight end positions, the receiver positions? Because I know we're living in those portal world to where the rosters kind of turn over, but there's still got to be some retention and development. You still have to have retention and development if you want to succeed long term. You might have a flash in the pan one good year, but can you stack multiple good years? And that's where the retention and development, I don't know if they're there yet, but, obviously I love Colorado, and I'm interested to see what happens for them this year in year 3.
Nah, no doubt. One last thing real quick. So break down what's going on there right now with you. So you guys in 2012, I believe you went to the MIAA, I think with what? Central Oklahoma, I think both of you guys at the time, and went to the MIAA. Now, are you independent officially, or what is the deal?
So before I got hired here, before I became the head coach, our athletic director and the president, they basically talked with the MIAA, because NSU historically has been a great program. Back in the 90s and the 2000s, they were in the Lone Star Conference, and they were one of the top Division II schools. You know, this school's won 2 national titles. It's won, 20-something conference titles. But they had fallen on hard times. They had gone through a stretch where they had not been winning at all over the course of since 2011. So what is that, 13 years? They had not been very competitive. And so the MIAA, to me, I never played against an MIAA team until I got to NSU. To see how these schools are built, they are good football programs. They're universities. They have resources. They have money. They have facilities. And so they're built like low-level Division I schools. A lot of these schools could compete with FCS programs and beat FCS programs. They really could, the way they're built. I was impressed with them. And so before I got here, they had been so bad for so long, they decided, hey, we need to build our program up. So we're going to go independent for 2 years. So we're independent this year and next year, but we're going to play 5 ranked opponents this year. Okay, we play Saginaw in week 1. Saginaw has been a perennial Division II power for a long time. We play West Florida, who's ranked in the top 5 right now, preseason poll coming into the season. We play that team out west. We don't say UCO. UCO, we call the team out west. That's their name. They're a very, very good football program, good coaching staff, good roster retention and development. Coach Durrell has been there now for 5 years. They won the MIAA last year. We lost a barn burner to them. We lost 64-57 in that game, and we were up at one point 40-14 and lost that game. That's a very good team. Very good program. We play North Alabama, who's a Division I team. So that's going to be a money game. We're going to go up to North Alabama and play them on ESPN. And then we play West Alabama at the end of the year, who Scott Cochran, who is, former Division I strength coach, special teams coordinator. So it's not like, even though we went independent, it's like going to be an easy schedule. Like we play 5 ranked opponents, and then we play some other teams in that schedule. But it's a good schedule, JB. I mean, we're going to have to play good football to put ourselves in a position to win 6, 7, 8 games this year. And, I'm anticipating that we need to be in that range this year. In year 2, we got to show a big jump on the win-loss column. We showed a big jump in other things last year. I want to show a big jump in the win-loss column in year 2, and that's where we're headed right now.
No doubt. Just my follow up on that before Smitty goes. What's the draw there in Tahlequah? What do you got to do there? Why do kids want to go there?
I think the great thing that you guys see me on social media. I'm very active on social media, and I talk about coming to the Qual, right? The Qual is basically Tahlequah, right? This is the town of Tahlequah, and it's a college town. I mean, what's great about this town is you got the Illinois River right next to us that runs right through Tahlequah. It's a great vacation destination. We got Lake Tenkiller, which is like 10, 15 minutes away from us. This is a very cool college town, and it's got a great character to it. And on top of that, you got a great coaching staff. My entire coaching staff has either played Division I college football or coached Division I college football. We got former NFL players on our coaching staff. Obviously, I'm a former Division I player, coach, and then also former NFL player. There's a lot to be drawn here to our program. And on top of that, you're going to get coached at a very high level. I know what it looks like. I know what it looks like at the highest levels of college football and what you're supposed to be doing, when you're supposed to be doing it to get to where you want to get to. And I think when our players sit down with me, and even though this program in the past has not been a great program the last 10 years, people believe in you. They believe in the coach, and they want to come play for the coach. And so, I think we've done a great job these first 2 recruiting cycles of getting length, getting speed, getting athleticism on our roster. And, kind of answer your point, JB, like I really believe that the college experience still matters, man. It's not just about money. It's not just about, the cars and the clothes. It's about the college experience, man. Walking the campus, going to class, interacting with people that are not athletes, like doing things outside of football that is going to help you develop as a young man. And I still think that matters, even though college football to me isn't a very, very weird predicament with this house settlement and rev share now and where it's going with everything. College matters, and we got to get back to making about college and not just about money. And until they sit down as a collective and, you know, put a commissioner in place in the Power Four conferences and say, hey, we're all going to play by the same rules. We're all going to have salary caps. We're all going to, because right now, Dion said something really, really good. Dion said at the Big 12 Media Days, there's only a handful of teams that are going to play for the championship. And he's right. There's only a handful of teams that can actually compete for a championship because they're spending the most money. You're talking about Texas, talking about Georgia. You're talking about, you know, I'm sure Alabama's in that mix. I'm sure Clemson's somewhere in that mix. I'm sure, you know, the Ohio States and the Michigans of the world, they're in that mix. But there's only 7 or 8 teams that really have a chance to win a national championship. Now, they might have a chance to win their conference championship, but national championship, there's probably 6 to 8 teams that legitimately have a chance to win it. And everybody else is just playing catch up. And everybody else is just trying to compete for the conference title, you know. So I think Dion spoke some truth. And that was one of the things I do agree with him on. That, okay, if we all want to play football, let's play the same game. Because right now we're all playing football, but we're not playing the same game. And if we can't play the same game, then we all can't compete. Doesn't matter how good a coach you are, you know. So, you know, I think you know, college football, JB, man, it's I wouldn't say it's in trouble, but it's definitely like it's under stress. I think Greg Sankey said that at the SEC Media Days. It's under stress. It's in huge stress right now, man. It's huge stress. So we have got to come together. The adults in the room have got to start making adult decisions for the betterment of college football, not just one conference. And the problem with it it's been basically kind of one conference that has ran college football for 15 years. I mean, the SEC has run college football really until, you know, Ohio State won it last year. But if you looked at like the last 10 years of the playoffs and everything, it's been like one conference. Why is that? They got better coaches? No, they got better players. Well, how do you get better players? You get better players because you're paying them more. Yeah, right. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that's what it's about. So let's level the playing field. If you really want it to be about the athletes and about the college football programs having some competitive balance, then we got to level that playing field too.
So you agree, just for clarity, you agree with Dion that you think it needs to be like a salary cap?
Heck yeah, you do. Heck yeah, you do. You need to get a commissioner who is going to basically be over the Power Four conferences, and then you got to have a salary cap with general managers. That's where it's at, man. I mean, we're doing rev share. So rev share means revenue sharing, and that money's coming through TV contracts. That money's coming through, you know, basically the different conferences that give those schools that money every year, and then they share it with their athletes now. And so, I mean, I'm telling you, Smitty, if they want to see more teams make the playoffs and more teams be competitive, then you got to level the playing field as far as you got to put a salary cap in. You know, it's the only way they're going to get there. But I think it's going to get there sooner than later. I think we're closer to that point than we were, you know, 2 years ago. But I'm interested to see if they do the right thing and take the next step in that avenue of getting college football right.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see you guys this fall. Go out there and handle those boys, and we'll see what happens, man. And then we'll have you on during the season. We're going to do something. We'll make an announcement, man, and get you on, do some chalk talk sessions with Coach Chev, similar to a Aaron Rodgers McAfee thing, Smitty. We'll have him on during the season. Win or lose, Chev got to come on like –
I'll be on win or lose, man. Shoot, I've won a lot of games in my life, but I've also lost a lot of games in my life. Man.
You coach long enough, Chev, you're gonna lose some games, right?
Oh man, I tell people all the time in this profession, if you coach, eventually you're gonna get fired. If you haven't gotten fired, that means you haven't coached long enough. That's what I tell guys. It doesn't matter how good a coach you are, just the way it works, man. And so,
no doubt.
You know, I've been fired before, but I've been hired before too. And you know, what I love about the game of football, and I tell our kids this, is that it's going to reveal a lot about you as a person. And I love the process that goes into game planning. I love the process that goes into getting a team ready. I love the process of of coaching young men to see them be better than when you got them as freshmen or sophomores, and see them develop as juniors and seniors, and see the joy on their face when all the hard work pays off, man. That's why I do it, man. I love coaching. I love, seeing our guys, man, do things that they didn't think they could do. And I love the camaraderie of the locker room, man. After a big win, when you're in there and you're celebrating with your teammates and you're celebrating with your coaches, man, there's no greater feeling in the world than whooping someone's butt, right, JB? There's no better feeling, man. But I've also had my butt whooped. I've been knocked down plenty of times. We got knocked down last year, but that don't stop my drive. It makes me work even harder, man, for these young men, for this institution, for our president, for our VPs, for our AD, man. I'm going to get this place right, JB, and it's going to be a great story, man, because I'm a young kid from Corona, California, man. I shouldn't be in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, but my journey has taken me here to Tahlequah, and I'm putting Tahlequah on the map, and it's going to be a fun ride, bro. And I appreciate you having me on, JP. I appreciate you giving me a platform, man, and I'm looking forward to doing Chalk Talk, man, in the fall, dude. We'll have some fun with that, dude. Win or lose, man. I'll make sure I come on and we'll do a great job.
It'd be great, man. No doubt. Good pub. We'll get some guys there. We'll get you some dudes, man. So all you kids out there, I'm already seeing on Twitter. Call me up, coach. You got players already in the DMs, I'm sure. So can't thank you enough, brother. Well, hopefully we'll see you. We'll see you soon, and maybe we'll have you on before the season actually again to kick it off before we actually do our deal. So go Riverhawks.
Let's do it, JB. See you, Smitty. I appreciate you guys, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, coach.
All right, boy.
Yeah.